12 Ounce Sports has a new home for betting. BetUS.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12 Ounce Sports. All you have to do is go to BetUS.com and type in the promo code 120OZE and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sports book. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
Welcome to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner, everybody. How are we all doing today? Happy NFL Monday afternoon. Get to recap all the games. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Let's get started. Welcome to my 206 show today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, do we have a lot to get into today with a bunch of NFL talk. But before I could get into the NFL talk, and for whatever else that I want to get into today, let me start off with you with an update on the score from the Atlanta Braves and the Milwaukee Brewers. That game is no score into the fifth inning. It's in the fifth inning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. Well, how many of you guys watched 12 Ounce Sports War on Friday? That's a 1 p.m. Eastern show. It's me and Michael Carvallis, and I've been waiting all day today to discuss this live on air. So we were debating on Friday between the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs who would win. So I let him defer first. He said the exact words. I wanted to play the clip on today's show, but it was too big of a media file that I recorded to play. So these are the exact words that he said to me on Friday's show. The Kansas City Chiefs will not only win against Buffalo Bills by 7 to 10 points, but they will dominate the game, and Patrick Mahomes will outplay Josh Allen. And the Buffalo Bills defense hasn't played anyone yet. Oh, really? And I told you that the Buffalo Bills were going to outright win that game. You called a timeout that told me to sit me down and shut me up. But who's the one now that's sitting me down and shutting me up this afternoon? Because I called you at 9:15 this morning. I'm like, I just want to call it in. You know what you were like? You didn't want to hear from me. Because I knew I was right from the start, and I told you for a reason why the Buffalo Bills were the number one team in the NFL, and I'm still sticking by it, because the Buffalo Bills this afternoon are the best team in the NFL. They completely dominated from start to finish 38-20. I mean, from the get-go in the pouring rain, okay, there was an hour and 15 minutes of a rain delay from the end of the first half to the start of the second half. But I also brought this on my show. I know I did it week 1 after the Dolphins beat the Patriots. I would like to bring my second bowl onto this show today. It's a nice big bowl of I Told You So. Want to know what's in the bowl of I Told You So? How about some Buffalo Wild Wings, baby? No, I don't actually have Buffalo Wild Wings, but it perfectly makes sense that I had to put put in the I told you so bowl of Buffalo Wild Wings because it's better than a Kansas City barbecue today. It is. Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes today. You want to know something about Patrick Mahomes? And I saw this on First Things First this morning. He has 7 giveaways this year. Want to know who's also in the same category as Patrick Mahomes giveaways? Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Zach Wilson of the New York Jets, Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions, and lastly, Sam Darnold of the Carolina Panthers. What do all those teams have in common? They're absolutely downright dreadfully terrible. That's what all those teams have in common. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is the RB Arsenal of the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, I get it. But to sit here and tell me that he's been having a good year, he's not. Tyreek Hill hasn't been the same. Travis Kelce, he's been their most consistent receiver. This team plays like they're cocky, they're arrogant, and think they could just run through the AFC, and now they're getting hit by cement blocks. Buffalo Bills are hungry. They want it more. You see it with the coaching staff, Sean McDermott, offensive coordinator Brian Daboll, and give credit to him. Allen ran basically through that defense. Want to know who Josh Allen looked like? Lamar Jackson in week 2. He did. And Josh Allen's the RB and soul of that Buffalo Bills team, and as he will take them as far as he will. Josh Allen is the better quarterback today than Patrick Mahomes. And I've seen all over social media how Patrick Mahomes' wife has been saying all these ridiculous things, and someone on Twitter's like, and I know it's pretty nasty, but maybe Patrick Mahomes needs to pull an Aaron Rodgers and not talk to his family at all. That's pretty harsh. That is actually pretty harsh. And also, when I saw Micah Hyde return that 26-yard pick six for a touchdown, I was like, oh, baby, yes, the Bills are pouring this thing on. And when it was 31-20 and Josh Allen had an incomplete pass on a 3rd and long, I'm like, oh, no, don't tell me the Chiefs could come back win this game. I saw a flag Frank Clark. I'm like, yes, 15 yards. 15 yards and a first down for the Bills, baby. And the Bills scored a touchdown on the same drive to Emmanuel Sanders 8 yards out. I'm telling you, the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC. They're right there with the Los Angeles Chargers, the Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans. They're all better than Kansas City Chiefs. We're in last place this morning with a 2-3 record. Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders are 3-2, but better than them. All right, now let me move on to my next segment over here. Giants and Cowboys. How to start this one off. Here's how I'll start this one. Let's go through the rash of injuries. I know the Cowboys, but the national media is talking about, the Dallas Cowboys. They are Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, we look so tough. God, gee golly. How about the fact that the New York Giants were all injured? Let's start with left tackle Andrew Thomas, who didn't even start the game. He was active, but it was Nate Solder who went to left tackle and Matt Peart to right tackle. And Solder is like basically a mannequin because he's absolutely downright dreadful and complete hot garbage, as if I haven't seen it before. Okay? Also, Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback, gets a concussion in the second quarter. He leaves the game all wobbly, get Carr off the field. He doesn't return. And that's offensive coordinator malpractice by Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett should be launched off a catapult in MetLife Stadium for that alone. And Okay, Joe Judge, maybe I'll apologize to him for them playing hard, but General Manager Dave Gettleman doesn't get a pass. How about running back Saquon Barkley? He gets hurt as well. He had to be carted off. His ankle swelled up like a balloon. This dude can't stay healthy. It's not worth the number 2 pick. I wouldn't bring him back. This dude's injury prone. Had an ACL injury last year. Torn in week 2 against Chicago Bears on the road. Now he's got the ankle problem. Let's get to another injury. Kenny Golladay hyperextends his knee in the second quarter. Is this the return of the injury played for the New York Giants that happened with Dak Prescott last year against them 1 year to the anniversary to the date? I mean, did some person from the cast of Every Which Way who casts these bad spells make a deal with Jerry Jones to cast one of those spells at AT&T Arlington Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and just be like, hey, we're just going to cast one of these spells over here, and we're just going to curse the Giants with injuries. And there, in Michael Carvalho's, I got to give him credit for this video, Jerry Jones, who is basically mocking Jerry Jones. Oh, Jerry Jones with this wallet and them playing better. Well, I know all the New York Giants fans were complaining about the referees. Okay, I get it. It is what it is. But the refs across the board, as Colin Cowherd and Fox Sports 1 said yesterday, they stink from the STK. They were downright dreadfully terrible. They were terrible. And if any of you guys would like to call up on this show about the officiating, it's right on the screen. 347-831-1945. I got 347-831-1945 calling to the show. Also here, who's also hurt for the Giants? Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton also out. Why know who opened that up? That opened up the door for it? Rookie, Kadarius Toney. I wrote an article on it this morning on the 12 Ounce Sports. So to support my show, or my articles on this network, go to 12OunceSportsNetwork.com/sportinggoods and get up to a $1,000 bonus with your first deposit. My book at RJ Promo. 12 Ounce Sports, Quench Your Sports. Live on Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. All right, as for Kadarius Toney, 10 receptions, 189 yards, and also 1 carry for 7 yards rushing. The fact that Kadarius Toney had to basically be forced into the action with all these injuries is coaching malpractice by Joe Judge and Jason Garrett. It's malpractice. What is this guy doing in the doghouse for the first 3 weeks? And you see what this guy has done the last 2 weeks. I hope not sitting him on my bench in fantasy doesn't come back to bite me in the rear end this week. Well, by 60 points. That's going off topic. I'm not going to go into that. But Kadarius Toney is the number 1 receiver. John Moss the second. CJ Moore, your 3 receivers right now heading next week against Los Angeles Rams, who are going to be favored by 10.5 points at MetLife Stadium because the West Coast of Los Angeles football, with both the Chargers and the Rams being 4-1, seems to be the best coast. And New York with the Jets and the Giants, both 1-4, both the combined 18-50 record last 5 years, seems to be the worst in the East Coast. Maybe one of these years, New York football will finally be good again. Who would have thought Los Angeles football would have been much more competent than New York? And that's what I have basically for the Giants. It was basically injury riddled. So we'll see how long Daniel Jones, Salford, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Andrew Thomas. I mean, the list goes on and Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton. Also, Blake Martinez and Jabril Peppers on the defensive side is hurt. So, let me stick with the Dallas Cowboys. The first thing that comes to my mind, and I'm going to stay with Jason Garrett. You know, Jason Garrett is so bad with the New York Giants that the Dallas newspapers are making headlines about Jason Garrett basically having a rough go with the New York Giants. And yes, he was their coach for 9-10 years. And how in the high seas did these Dallas Cowboys fans deal with him for so long? You're calling out a rollout on a 3rd and 1 with Daniel Jones on a 3rd and goal for the 1 yard line. They should have gone a quarterback sneak. That is malpractice at its finest. Kellen Moore is a great offensive coordinator for Dak Prescott, who's playing probably one of his best football of his career. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, solid running back duo. Mari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb is your top two receivers. Michael Gallup. Dalton Schultz is not a bad tight end. Trayvon Diggs is your defensive player of the year right now. Jabril Cox, Micah Parsons. I mean, I wouldn't say the defense is that great. It's a lot better than it was last year. But can the national media, for crying out loud, just stop like riding the coattails of Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys? My goodness. I'm just saying. You know what I'm thinking of right now? It's actually, never mind. The fact that the national media wants to basically jump on the train of the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, they're a good football team. Top 10, yes. Super Bowl, I still don't know if they're better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Green Bay Packers or the Arizona Cardinals. I don't. That's how I feel about Dallas. I was talking to a couple of Dallas Cowboys fans yesterday. They're the more logical fans than the more obnoxious ones. But I'm very curious to see. Yeah, they got an easy schedule. But will that easy schedule really? Okay, I think they'll be a top 3 seed. But will that easy schedule be like, oh, they were really frauds to begin with? All right, let me move on to the Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Chargers. But before I get into that, I would like to thank, as usual, Cody Ensign, Jamie Beck, Lou Gamlin, Philly Pete, Michael Crazy Carvallis, and Mitch Bernstein for all the great work that they do for this network here. Let's now get into Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Chargers. Now I don't understand all the criticism that Baker Mayfield receives. I don't. And I know Justin Herbert outplayed him. That's the reason why the Chargers won 47-42. But when the Browns, here's the thing. Let me tell you a couple key plays from this game. Key play number 1. It's 42-41 Cleveland in the fourth quarter. Austin Eckler slides for a first down. Browns know they're going to milk clock and try to kick a field goal to win, so the Browns have no chance to get the ball back. The Browns defense on the first play basically chug and truck Austin Eckler into the end zone for a touchdown because they want the ball back. So they did. Baker Mayfield looked absolutely dreadful in that 2-minute drive. It was a nice Hail Mary throw. I thought it was going to be a pass interference, but a couple of the wide receivers for the Cleveland Browns and a couple of the defensive backs for the Los Angeles Chargers get their feet tangled up. Happens. So this game was a matter of, I think the Cleveland Browns have a better roster than the Chargers. But Justin Herbert at this point in time today is better than Baker Mayfield. Now, there's a lot of people that are pointing to this play. A 3rd and 10. They run the ball with Nick Chubb and it gets stopped. So they had a great, because they're going to stop the run all day with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's one of the best rushing units in the NFL. Second behind the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry. Cleveland Browns, they're going to be a playoff team. There's talent on that roster. But some people are questioning, Baker Mayfield. But, yeah, they may have won games on this team, not because of, but in spite of Baker Mayfield. But here's the question you all have to ask yourselves. This goes for the national media as well, and I always bring this back up. Who in the high seas are you going to bring in better quarterback, better than Baker Mayfield? And there's only 2 options. Option number 1 is a Deshaun Watson if you feel like that his off-the-field issues is not a big deal. Or number 2, Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers. That's it. You think a rookie quarterback is going to solve the issues for the Browns? No, it's not. It's not going to solve the issues for the Cleveland Browns. Austin Eckler played great yesterday. And the aggressiveness by Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert was fabulous, but I think Kevin Stefanski called himself a good game as well. Along with Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. And the chemistry between Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. seems to be missing. And no one wants to talk about this. Guarantee you Baker Mayfield misses Jarvis Landry. That is not a fiction in a story tale. That is a fact. Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry absolutely miss each other. Okay, now let's get into the Green Bay Packers and the Cincinnati Bengals. This was one of the most weird games on tap yesterday in the NFL. So the Green Bay Packers, Cincinnati Bengals. There were 5 missed kicks in this game. Mason Crosby had 3 of them. It was 3 in a row. And the Cincinnati Bengals kicker missed 2 in a row. Mason Crosby redeemed himself by drilling a 49-yard field goal with 2 minutes remaining in overtime, and the Packers won 25-22. So Aaron Rodgers' connection to Davante Adams' connection is still on point. But let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and how good Joe Burrow was yesterday to Jamar Chase. And I know Burrow was hospitalized, a throat contusion, and he's going to be okay. I'm telling you, Bengals are not a pushover. They could have won that game yesterday, but they didn't. But they're going in the right direction. And if they finish, as I said, 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, I know some people want to fire head coach Zach Taylor, but you've shown progress with him and Joe Burrow as the head coach quarterback duo. Like, how could you not give it at least another year? But then if you regress the next year, then okay. But what this franchise needs is stability, not disarray and dysfunction like it already is. It's not the answer. It isn't. Green Bay Packers seems like that week 1 mirage against the New Orleans Saints seems like a distant memory ago. Because it simply was. And as for the Cincinnati Bengals, the offensive line's getting better. They're getting more respectable on the defensive side of the football. I've actually thought they were going to give up 30 points yesterday. But hey, they actually played well and picked off Aaron Rodgers a couple of times. There is hope and optimism today for Cincinnati, and I don't think they're the worst team in that AFC North. I think it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm telling you, it's another one for Green Bay Packers, 25-22. I think the NFC North, it's their division for the taking. It is. I mean, we thought they were going to be a lost cause after they lost week 1 this year. But no, it wasn't the case. And I still think they're going to keep rolling with Matt LaFleur as the head coach. But that's the way it goes in the NFL. I'm going to commercial break. I'll be right back.
"12 Ounce Sports" has a new home for betting. BetUS.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12 Ounce Sports. All you have to do is go to BetUS.com and type in the promo code 120OZE and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sportsbook. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
ladies and gentlemen, I am now back from commercial break. So let me tell you, I'm going to move on from this Green Bay Packers Cincinnati Bengals segment 25-22. Now let's get into the San Francisco 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. And there's not really too much to take away from this game. So the San Francisco 49ers have lost 3 consecutive games. They have. I mean, can we now say that the San Francisco 49ers may not be the same football team that I thought they were? I thought they were a Super Bowl contender, but they're obviously maybe just a fringe playoff team at best. And as for the Arizona Cardinals, they're 5-0. They are still the last unbeaten team in the NFL. Trey Lance looks shaky in his first NFL career start. And if Jimmy Garoppolo comes back, it's the appearance of Garoppolo will be the starting quarterback. And as for Kyler Murray, a lot of people think that he is, right now, the MVP this season. That's what they think. So, I am live on YouTube, Twitter, and also only on 12 Sports TV and Zingo TV channel 761. I'm live Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, and noon Pacific on Mondays. So, Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner, at Glenn Kaplan 13 is my Twitter handle, so follow me. Also, to support my articles or this show, go to 12OutSportsNetwork.com/sportinggoods. And also, you get up to a $1,000 bonus with your first deposit. MyBookie.ag. Follow 12 Out Sports, 12 Out Sports, Quench Your Sports Thirst. We are live on Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. 12 Out Sports, Quench Your Sports Thirst. 12 Out Sports, Quench Your Sports Thirst. And if you would like to bring anything up with me, 347-831-1945. Again, 347-831-1945. I'll still be live for about another 17, 18 minutes of the show today. 19, so keep an eye. So, all right, let's keep going. The Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks. 26-17 Rams over Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Number 1, Russell Wilson got injured. Geno Smith had to come in for a touchdown drive, and Geno Smith actually looked pretty good. But if Geno Smith has to be the starter moving forward for the Seattle Seahawks, it will spell trouble for them. The Seahawks already have a terrible defense to begin with. We don't know if Russell Wilson even wants to come back to the Seattle Seahawks after the season's over. And as for the Los Angeles Rams, they kind of redeemed themselves. Yeah, they won, and they're now 4-1 on the season. And are in second place in the NFC West. They're a playoff team for sure. But Matthew Stafford realizes, hey, I just can't throw the ball to Cooper Kupp. I can throw the ball to Robert Woods and Deshaun Jackson. Look what happens when I throw to all these other receivers. Hey, I need to stop thinking that Cooper Kupp, I need to force feed it to him like he did in his olden days with the Detroit Lions and when they had Megatron Calvin Johnson. Sure, Lou Gamlin would probably agree with me upon that. Big Detroit Lions fans, sorry about them losing again on a heartbreaking fashion last-second field goal to the Minnesota Vikings. So, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay is a very good quarterback, head coach combination. And the defense is playing well. Aaron Donald's getting triple teamed. This was not a surprise. Getting a good running game with Darrell Henderson. They are. It's not great, but it's serviceable. That at least they can keep other teams honest on the defensive end. And I saw something else on Twitter today that the Seattle Seahawks, should they bring in Cam Newton? No way. No way they should bring in Cam Newton. Number one, I don't know if the Seattle Seahawks want to deal with someone who's unvaccinated. I mean, there hasn't really been any COVID-19 outbreaks this year, and that's a good sign for the NFL. Hopefully I don't jinx any of that. But that's what happens when you have the vaccination. You can avoid all these outbreaks. That's number one. Number 2, they're better off riding Geno Smith. He knows the playbook. He's been the backup for the last few years to Russell Wilson. He's just familiar with the system. Why would you want to do that on October 11th? Why would you? Why would you want to do that? And lastly, the Seahawks could find, oh, that's right. The Seattle Seahawks do not have a first-round pick this year because they traded it to the New York Jets and the Jamal Adams trade. So that is not a good sign if you are the Seattle Seahawks. It's not. Jets could have 2 top 10 picks. There's a legitimate chance that the New York Giants could have 2 top 10 picks. And the Philadelphia Eagles, this chance, not only they got 2, but they could have 3 top 10 picks. So I expect Los Angeles Rams to keep running. The Seattle Seahawks, they need to find themselves in a hurry. Now, New Orleans Saints versus the Washington football team. So the New Orleans Saints took them down 33-22. Jameis Winston had a Hail Mary right before the end of the first half to Marquez Callaway. Alvin Kamara toyed with the Washington defense. Remember when everyone hyped up this Washington football team's defense to start the year? What happened to it? It stinks from the S to the K. It's terrible. It's not good. It's overrated. Chase Young is getting double teamed. Yeah, he had his first sack of the year yesterday. But where is this rest of this defense? Jack Del Rio, they're getting burned. Their linebacker, Jamin Davis, the guy they drafted in the first round, has been non-existent. The secondary is a complete trash bin. I mean, I have it right under the desk. Not over here, but here in the basement. Want to know what it could use? Probably back behind me in my laundry room. It could use a wash and a dry cleaning because it's terrible. It is. It's not very good at all. As for New Orleans Saints, that was a win they needed desperately because you can't lose 2 games in a row like that against 2 very weak NFC East or least teams, however you want to put it. Losing the New York Giants and blowing an 11-point lead. Last week got almost bad enough. You couldn't lose 2 in a row. Now, I do like Taylor Heinicke for the Washington football team. Ron Rivera, the head coach, yesterday said, we got enough good players in here. I don't understand why we're losing. Why? Because you're getting outplayed and getting controlled on the line of scrimmage. That's why your team is losing. You know what that's like? Oh, we got enough players. What's going on? Maybe it's not a right mesh with the core players, especially on the defensive line. Maybe that's what the problem is, or maybe you're the same old franchise. That's what it maybe comes down to. It might be harsh, but it's also true. You know, Dan Orlovsky said facts don't care about your feelings. It's a political say about Ben Shapiro. Well, that's what it is. Facts don't care about your feelings. And the facts don't care about your feelings about anything. All right. So Chase Young, maybe with him recording 1 sack, maybe he'll start to get a boatload more. We'll see. They got to start winning games. The Denver Broncos versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let me tell you something about this game. There's a lot more points scored than I thought it was going to. The Steelers win 27-19. Let me tell you something about the Denver Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater's not it. He's not. And I know he was coming off the concussion yesterday. But to tell me, oh, they're trying to look who they played. The New York Giants, the New York Jets, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's who they played. And I actually thought they were going to beat the Steelers. And that tells me that the Steelers are better than the Broncos. And I know it's a week-to-week league, and I know, okay, it's all about matchups. But the Steelers, my goodness, the Steelers are better than the Broncos. And the Broncos, again, are going to have to find a quarterback. They should be shooting themselves in the foot right now. So they didn't draft Justin Fields, they didn't draft Mac Jones. They're better than Teddy Bridgewater, and they're certainly better than Drew Lock. They are. And you're not going to compete with those quarterbacks. Not only that you have to deal with Pat Mahomes in your division, you also have Justin Herbert. now on the Los Angeles Chargers, and say what you want about Derek Carr. Derek Carr's a good quarterback. What if the Broncos had Derek Carr? Be a whole different, much different situation. In my opinion, with the Broncos. What if the Steelers yesterday had Derek Carr? And they might have even won. And they might have even won the other game before that, the game that they lost against the Ravens. Because Carr beat both of those teams this year. I still think the Broncos are the worst team in the NFC. Not the NFC, the AFC West. But as we can tell by the standings, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Bill Parcells once said, your record is what your record is, and that's it. So that's what I have on the matter, and here's what I have to say about NFL frauds. Denver Broncos were frauds, and so are the Carolina Panthers and the Las Vegas Raiders here as well. They are all 3-2. Now let me get into the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Tennessee Titans easily took down Jacksonville Jaguars by a final score 37-19. Derrick Henry, as I always say, is the best running back in the NFL, and it seems like they always go through Derrick Henry in Tennessee. It's Ryan Tannehill, okay? Ryan Tannehill's a good quarterback. Hey, there was a lot of pressure off of him yesterday. There was a lot of pressure off taking Tannehill. He didn't have to force feed anyone. He didn't have to throw it to anyone because of how good Henry was. You want to know how many times Derrick Henry was untouched yesterday at the line of scrimmage? Quite a bit. Because that Tennessee offensive line played with a passion. They played with a sense of urgency. That Jacksonville Jaguars seems like, we really don't want it. We don't like Urban Meyer, our head coach. We don't. And I'm sure Urban Meyer, head coach Jacksonville Jaguars, and a lot of people at this point saying he probably wants to get fired, probably true. Hey, there's a USC job opening. He probably wants to go to USC. Probably wants to go fly from Florida, Jacksonville to the East Coast. Go out to the Los Angeles to the West Coast. Why do some people think that as I said earlier on the show, the West Coast is the best coast? Only people that have been on the West Coast could probably say that. Well, I'm from the East Coast, so I say the East Coast is the best coast. Little recency bias or living bias, but it's okay to kind of be biased sometimes in certain situations, not all the time. So I thought the Jaguars were going to give them a scare in the fourth quarter, but the Titans shut it down on a fourth and goal from the 1 yard line. They blew the play up on a run. I mean, what are you doing? Not handing the ball, not allowing Trevor Lawrence, your rookie franchise quarterback, to take it up the middle. I mean, what? As I mentioned earlier in this show with the New York Giants, with Joe Judge and Jason Garrett. Want to talk about malpractice? That's another version of malpractice by Urban Meyer. Homie, the first head coach let go. I changed my mind on that. I said Joe Judge or Mike Zimmer, Vic Fangio. It's going to be Urban Meyer. Okay? And Mike Vrabel's head coach of the Tennessee Titans. The thing is, Tennessee needed this win. And maybe the loss against the lowly New York Jets and Zach Wilson will come back to bite them, but maybe not. But that's how bad he used to Jacksonville Jaguars and Indianapolis Colts are. As long as the Tennessee Titans win just 9 games this year, and they're probably going to win all 6 alone in the AFC South. As long as the Tennessee Titans can win just any 3 games outside the division, they're going to win the division and make the playoffs. Now, I know they have much higher expectations than that. I know that for a fact. Because that's why they brought in Julio Jones. They need to get the ball more than A.J. Brown. I get it. And they need to get better on defense. As the next 2 weeks, they're playing the Buffalo Bills on Monday night at home. And in the following week, the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're heading over to London to face Miami Dolphins, the 305. So we'll see how that goes. So I got about 5 minutes left on today's show. Let me give you my MLB postseason updates / MLB game recaps. So on my phone very quickly, let me find an update and a score for the Houston Astros. Not the Houston Astros, the Atlanta Braves here. So the Atlanta Braves, they are winning 3-0 in the top of the 7th inning against the Milwaukee Brewers. Jock Peterson came off the bench and hit a 3-run homer for them. That is something. And the Brewers offense has gone ice cold. They have not scored a run in the last 16 innings? That is something. What a time for your offense to go ice cold. I said the Brewers would sweep. Boy, am I eating my words right now. Want to know what I'm also eating my words about? Because that series was tied at 1 entering today. It's looking like the Atlanta Braves will take a 2-1 series lead over the Milwaukee Brewers. Houston Astros, the lead of Chicago White Sox 2-1. The Chicago White Sox pitching has not been perfect. That game today has been postponed. Game 4 is tomorrow because of the rain. And last night, the White Sox won 12-6 to stay alive. And the offense in that game, there was basically no pitching. That was electric in Chicago last night. My dad was just actually at that field 2 years ago when he saw Jacob deGrom pitch against Lucas Giolito. It's basically an empty ballpark. And the Boston Red Sox lead the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1. Boston won last night in 13 innings on a Christian Vázquez 2-run homer over Luis Patino. And there was a questionable call in the top of the 13th where the Rays should have scored a run, but a ground rule double got the player back to third. And the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Game 3 is tonight. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. Lastly, NHL opening night preview. I am so excited for the NHL regular season to begin here. What is what it is here as well. Another offseason has flown by. Let the games begin, baby. So, Pittsburgh Penguins, Tampa Bay Lightning on Tuesday night. ESPN 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm taking Tampa Bay Lightning over the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3 in an overtime shootout. Pittsburgh's Mr. City, Krasgeny, Malkin, Jake Gunsel, Zach Astor-Reese. Tampa Bay will have everyone. But this is Mike Sullivan. Coach squad will be ready to go. It'll be a high-scoring game. Braden Point, Steven Stamkos, Kia Kucherov, Andrei Vasilevsky. Lastly, Seattle Kraken versus Vegas Golden Knights. Give me the Vegas Golden Knights over to Seattle Kraken 5-2. Sorry, Michael Crazy Carvallis. Stop. You're a bandwagon Seattle Kraken fan. Trying to act like you talk about no hockey. But some guys shouldn't just be able to talk hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, that game will be at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night as well on ESPN. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time here. Thanks for tuning in Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your week as well. I will be back on the air on Monday morning. Not Monday morning. Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll be going over the NHL game recaps for opening night, Tuesday and Wednesday. That's also on TNT. Wednesday nights on TNT every Wednesday night this year. On TNT here as well. Also, NBA preview, NFL Week 6 preview, Monday night recap for Week 5 Indianapolis Colts, Baltimore Ravens, some more MLB postseason updates, maybe an ALCS or NLCS preview, much more. Get up to a $1,000 bonus with your first deposit, MyBookie.ag. Promo Toronto Sports, Toronto Twitch. We were live on Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. Also, to support my show, the articles on the website. Go to TorontoSportsNetwork.com/sportinggoods. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.